land at Ssesamirembe was not your typical land in Uganda in terms of its location and dedication. Even though the land of Ssesamirembe was solemnly dedicated to peaceful togetherness, it held a special significance as a sanctuary for the descendants of African slaves returning to their motherland. This noble undertaking, embraced by many African Americans, led to the establishment of Ssesamirembe as a symbol of reconnection and healing. In the late 1980s, the inaugural conventions called Ssesamirembe were held, drawing African Americans to Ssesamirembe in a spirit of solidarity and communal aspiration. Several African American families, inspired by the vision of Ssesamirembe, decided to stay and contribute to the building of Ssesamirembe City. This diverse community grew to include not only African Americans, but also individuals from Europe, Latin America, Canada, and other parts of Africa, such as Rwanda, who sought to establish their permanent residences in Ssesamirembe. These families often brought their children, who grew up and intermarried with the local young men and women at Ssesamirembe, thus cementing the bond of return. The sons of Bambi Baba, in particular Mugabe and Mirembe, formed significant connections by marrying into African American families, symbolizing the deep bond of return of African Americans back to motherland. The family of Kwesima and Nabajuna, instructed to bear the burden of the Bridge of Return, saw their daughter Maritza marry Mirembe, further solidifying this profound connection and commitment to the ideals of Ssesamirembe. The reconnection and return of African Americans to their ancestral motherland, Africa, is of paramount importance for several profound reasons. First and foremost, Africa is where their primeval DNA originated. It is their fundamental right to connect with the land of their ancestors, who were brutally uprooted and subjected to the horrors of slavery. This return offers a powerful opportunity for African Americans to reclaim their heritage, culture, and identity, which were violently severed by slavery. Reconnecting with their roots allows them to rediscover their cultural practices, spiritual beliefs, and ancestral names, restoring a sense of continuity and belonging that has been missing for centuries. Furthermore, the return to Africa is significant because it is the cradle of human civilization, the place where life on Earth ignited and where the genetics that populated the world originated. Ssesamirembe is strategically situated at the cosmic focal point known as Nsiriko. According to Bambi Baba, the construction of Ssesamirembe City will awaken the African sleeping giant, which holds the planetary pot of wisdom. Africa's vast resources have been preserved for this moment, heralding a new era. Some might argue that Africa's underdevelopment was a preparatory phase, equipping it for the dawn and prosperity of this new golden age. Concurrently, African Americans are uniquely positioned to help propel Africa towards its destiny as a leading economic powerhouse and a spiritual beacon. The hardships endured through slavery, dehumanization, segregation, imprisonment, and homelessness have forged an invincible spirit within them, preparing them to accomplish this grand destiny. The motherland has awaited your return for centuries, ready to embrace you and propel its journey toward collective planetary enlightenment. So come home, Africa has been waiting, eager to welcome you with open arms. Now let us dive deeper into Bambi Baba's spiritual legacy. His decision to incarnate in Uganda, on the African continent, profoundly challenged and disrupted the colonial narrative that Africa is a dark continent inhabited by dark-skinned people whose souls must be saved from evil. This outdated and prejudiced view, propagated during the slavery and colonial era, painted Africa as a place devoid of enlightenment and even history, in dire need of salvation by European white civilizing forces. The birth and life of Bambi Baba, a highly evolved, incredible being in Uganda, stood in stark contrast to this narrative. The notion that a living saint, a beacon of spiritual purity and moral integrity, could emerge from this supposedly dark continent was unthinkable to those who held colonial prejudices. Bambi Baba's existence not only defied these stereotypes, but also illuminated the rich spiritual and cultural heritage of Africa. It highlighted the continent's capacity for profound spirituality and enlightenment, thus redefining the world's perception of Africa and its people. Through Bambi Baba, Uganda, and by extension Africa, demonstrated its inherent value and potential for greatness, which had long been overlooked or suppressed by colonialism and white supremacy ideologies. That civilization ignited from the African Great Lakes near Lake Victoria, as his imperishable glory, Bambi Baba repeatedly revealed, is supported by empirical evidence. It is unequivocally established that Africans were the pioneers of human civilization, fostering human life on Earth and spreading genetic diversity that populated the world with diverse cultures and civilizations. In 2016, a DNA survey conducted by 3 independent teams of geneticists sequenced the genomes of 787 individuals from various global cultures. The conclusive finding was that all non-African populations today trace their ancestry back to a single population originating from Africa. The epicenter of human dispersal and civilization is believed to have been the region around Lake Victoria, also known as Lake Nalubal. Moreover, the Chinese Human Genome Diversity Project, overseen by the National Academy of Sciences of China, independently affirmed that a significant portion of the modern Chinese population shares genetic roots with Africa. Similarly, vast populations in India, Asia, Latin America, and beyond reflect their ancestral ties to Africa, a truth evident even without genomic analysis. These groundbreaking scientific revelations challenge and disprove the racist evolutionary theories propagated in the 19th century, notably by Charles Darwin. Darwin's classification of Africans as savages due to their lack of whiteness, a trait he attributed to a superior race, echoed the white supremacist ideologies that continue to endure today, which erroneously linked physical traits with societal advancement. Similar to the enduring legacy of Bambi Baba, Dr. Cheikh Anta Diop's seminal work in The African Origin of Civilization decisively refutes the pervasive prejudice and discrimination against Africans worldwide. It emphasizes Africa's indispensable role as the birthplace of humanity, where its ancient inhabitants significantly contributed to the dissemination of civilization worldwide.